it is many times not so clear about how the table is spanning across table spaces. So here there is a disk. I think I have no ink left. This is my first data file. This is on the C drive, and then this is my another data file. This is on the D drive. So let us say this is a C drive and a D drive. Okay, but this is a data file. This is of size 1 gigabyte, this is of size 1 gigabyte. Both of these data files will now form my one table space. This is how I have created it, let us say. So this is one table space but two data files. Now I create a table. First table A1 gets created here, the first extent of the A1. Then B1 gets created here. And then B2 is here. B3 is here. Again A2, A3, and now this data file is full. So what is going to happen? The A4 will get created over here. A5 will get created over here. As you can see now here, this is what my table space is. This clubbed together is my table space. My table A, my segment A, is having multiple extents, but they are in different data files, even though they are in the same table space. So this is a very commonly asked question. Can a table span in multiple data files? The answer is yes. And now the next logical question to that, can a table span multiple table spaces? The answer is no. So even this becomes full now. This is now A6, this becomes full, A7 becomes full, A8 and A9. The entire table space is full. Now there is another table space there, let us say, with a different name, and it has everything free in it. So can now A10 come over here? The answer is no. A10 cannot come over here. Why? Because this is a different table space and this is a different table space. If this file was part of the table space, same table space, then yes, then it can come to the different data file. So in a nutshell, the point that I wanted to make is can table span across multiple data files? The answer is yes. Can table span across multiple table spaces? The answer is no. So that was the next point there. Now I want to come back to the commands there. Okay, let us do this thing. How to create a table space? Okay, this is the command. Create table space, name of the table space. APP, that is the name of the table space that I have created. You can give any name there. Just don't give the same names like system, sysocs, and undo and temp. So this is how we create a normal table space. The size of this table space would be 1 gigabyte. How many data files would be there in this table space? 1. So right now the size of the table space is same as the size of the data file in that table space. Now I will come and create quite a few tables in this table space, and the table space will become full. How can I find out when the table space becomes full or not? Using db_free_space. Okay, that we have seen that. db_free_space will tell you how much of space is free within a table space. Now after this, the the table space is full now. What to do? We have multiple choices. And after that, when the table space is full, your insert statements will start failing. The developers will come and complain that something is wrong, our program which was working yesterday fine has stopped working today. What has happened? Nothing, because you don't have enough space to insert data. Okay, so that is something that has happened. So you can take an action and say that whenever this will become full, then I'm going to do an auto extend. Auto on. Auto extend on means what? Means when 1 gigabyte becomes full, suddenly the size of that file, which is the file that app1.dbf, will grow. And how much it will grow by? It will grow by the size of, in this case, 100 MB. And you can specify this thing. You can specify the next will be, this is the next growth of that file. So 1 gigabyte will become 1.1 gigabyte. Then suddenly from there it will become 1.2 gigabyte. Then it will become 1.3 gigabytes. Why it will become 1.3 gigabytes? When the space is required for your inserts. That's when it will grow. Otherwise it will not grow. It will stay over there. And now, till how much it will grow? 1 gigabyte, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Will it grow and become terabytes? It can actually become terabytes, but you don't want it to go to terabytes. You usually would like to limit that, and that limit is max size of, let us say, 3 gigabyte. So it will grow from 1 to 1.1 to 1.2, 1.3. Likewise, it will go to like 2.9 and 3, and then after that it will stop working. It will stop extending. Auto extend will work only till 3 gigabyte. What will happen after that? If you want to insert data, you will still have problems. So that's why it is very important to pay attention to the sizes. What should be the size of a table space is decided based on how much of data somebody is going to insert. So you need to get a fairly good idea about the amount of data. That is what is important over here. So this is the command to create a table space and to keep it growing. Now the biggest challenge comes here in the original career, the DBA career here, is auto extend 50 gigabytes. Can this work? Yes, it will work. But what if your C drive is only of 40 gigabytes? Your C drive is of 40 gigabytes and you have specified the size of that one huge file, which is this, is going to become 50 gigabytes. This will work till 40 gigabytes. After that it will stop working. So you should not have such big numbers here. In fact, I don't like, many DBAs have many different notions of the growth of the table space. I don't like to auto extend the data file, because you'd never come to know in the middle of the night when 1 gigabyte mark is hit, automatically it will go to 1.1, and I as a DBA will not even come to know that. I will not even come to know. Next day I will come in, everything is working fine. Suddenly when I will get an alarm that this has reached 40 gigabytes or something like that. Okay, so I am a DBA, I should be proactive, and therefore I should be immediately woken up in the middle of the night when this comes close to 1 gigabyte. That is done by the monitoring, and if there is a problem I should be immediately taking the action. So I don't like this auto extend option. So what do I do now? I just don't specify auto extend on. By default auto extend is not on. So you just do this. This is what I would do. And then what I do, and another thing I don't like this auto extend for, is the size of the file becomes very huge. 50 gigabyte size. It is very difficult to back up. It will take huge amount of time to back up. If something goes wrong with the corruption of that file, then the whole file will get corrupted. So you should just kind of again do the divide and conquer thing. If you want a table space to be of 50 gigabytes, why not create 1 gigabyte file but 15 numbers? 1 gigabyte file. Why? Because if one file goes wrong, then at least we can recover it quickly. If 50 gigabyte file something goes wrong, then we have to recover entire 50 gigabyte file. So my thing is, okay, create a table space. Once the table space is created and the table is full, you do this thing, alter table space. Name of the table space is app, add data file, and the name of the data file is c:\app2.dbf, and then you specify size as again 1 gigabyte. So now your table space app is of size 2 gigabyte, but it is having 2 data files. Easier to back up, easier to manage.
So but for this we will have to keep on checking.
You will exactly. That's what your job for the first entire 1 year as a DBA is to keep checking those things.
We'll have to check.
Yes. And I will tell you, some of the guys who have lost jobs, at some of the organizations are because they were not monitoring this thing. I don't want to take any names and all those, but that has happened. That is your critical job, to keep monitoring the free space. So this is how you will keep on growing. At least when it is close to 80% of free, 80% utilized, 20% is free, you add a data file. So you need to kind of keep on monitoring the growth. Suddenly, okay, tomorrow we are going to load huge amount of data. Okay, you know that you have to work with the application development team. You make sure that you add a data file prior to that job is going to run. Okay, that coordination has to be there. So this is the command to alter the table space. Now, so some other commands there. So this is my personal preference. Not all DBAs will do that, but I like to add more data files instead of having one huge big file for your table space. You can resize the data file also. You can say alter database. Now this is not an alter table space, actually this is alter database. Data file, let us say c:\app2.dbf, resize 1.5 gigabyte. Now with this resize, I am increasing the size of the data file from 1 to 1.5 gigabytes. So growth can be done very easily. Can you shrink the size of the data file? You can shrink the size of the data file, let us say from 1 gigabyte to 0.9 gigabytes. So let us say 900 megabytes. But this will not work if there is data.
Data more than 900.
More than 900. So it will work only if that happens. Okay. So this is another command. Next command is this. This is now, remember, this command was alter database, not alter table space. Now then alter database, data file, then c:\app1.dbf, and then I'm going to say auto extend on. Now auto extend on, assuming that the auto extend feature was off earlier when the database the table space was created, I can turn it on. You have to remember one thing though here, auto extend is a feature of a data file, not of a table space. So you can grow the data file, and since you can grow the data file, table space also grows. Okay, you can never say the table space has to be auto extended. You usually say that data file inside the table space has to be auto extended. You can turn it on or you can turn it off also. So this is how the auto extend on and off works.
We should mention the auto extend.
No, there is no need to mention auto extend off, because by default it is off. If you don't mention any auto extend during the table space creation, so you create table space app, then data file, all that stuff, and auto extend on. That auto extend on is not for the table space. That auto extend on is for the data file. Yeah.
How it will increase? We are specifying the table space that next table name max size 3M.
So here you can specify that also. Auto extend on. Next, I think otherwise next is by 100 megabytes. Although that, I think that is the default. I am not 100% sure about that. But if you don't specify the next and the max size is unlimited, and the next is 100 megabytes. If you don't specify, those are the defaults. Okay, now let us say this is a very common situation that happens, and many people don't know how to do this thing. Let us say you have a C drive and you have a D drive. Okay, why I'm giving Windows examples? Because it is little easier to understand C drive and D drive. On this you have a data file which is of name app1.dbf, and suddenly there is some problem on the C drive. The C drive is very old. It was bought maybe 4 years ago. This disk was brought many years ago, and therefore the management would like to change this disk with a new disk with the higher RPM. By the way, the standard RPMs are 7,200, which is the very RPM, revolutions per minute, for each disk, how fast the disk will spin. The required kind of RPM for a good performance is 15,000. So in most of the data centers you will see these days 15,000 RPM disks are there. They will do a good performance. Assuming that you have a hard disk with low RPM and maybe it is old, so therefore the management has brought you a new hard disk and you have created a D drive out of that new hard disk, and now your job is to move a file from C drive to D drive. Okay, how would you do that? You have a command for that. Actually moving a file from one directory to another directory, one drive to another drive, one and the same thing. Why? Because you are actually changing the name of the file. What is the name of the file? The original name of the file is C:\app1.dbf. The new name of the file would be D:\app1.dbf. So this is basically just renaming a file. If you want to move a file from one directory to another directory, if you just want to rename a file, one and the same thing. And the command is alter database is the command. Okay, alter database, rename file, and the name of the file is earlier it was what, C:\app1.dbf to the new file name, which is D:, in single quotes, D:\app1, or you can give app2 if you want to change the name also, dbf and semicolon. Now this is the command which will rename a file from one location to another location, but you cannot do this directly. You have to first make sure that you take the table space offline. Because while you are moving this file from one directory to another directory, what if somebody goes and updates, say, a row in that? That problem will happen, and therefore you cannot execute this command if there is any transaction in flight. So you must take the table space offline. So that's why take the table space offline. How do we do that? Step number A, alter table space. Name of the table space, not the name of the file. Alter table space, let us say app offline. And then you bring the table space online. So this is step number A, step number B, and step number C is to bring it online. Just the word is online. Okay, so this is how you rename a table space, or rename a data file of a table space. So these are again, you know, alter table space, app online. So these are certain commands related to table spaces. Fundamental things that you will have to do is check the sizes, check the free space, find out which tables are there in which table spaces, which is the biggest table, which is the smallest table. All those things are coming from the data dictionary views. Then you have to create a table space. You have to add a data file to a table space. You have to shrink a table space if it is possible. And then you have to turn the auto extend on or auto extend off depending on what the requirements are. And you may have to very rarely move a file from one directory to another directory, one disk to another disk. And that is what we saw, how to rename a file. The important thing is to take the table space offline. Okay, so these are the things. Data dictionary views that we have seen are okay, I will just mention the data dictionary views. We have seen this dba underscore table spaces. Then there is dba underscore data underscore files, and then there is a dba underscore temp underscore files also. Why temp underscore files? For temporary table space, you know what files belong to the temporary table space. Temporary table space is also a table space, and there are certain files that belong to the temporary table space. What are those files? What are their sizes? All that information is not there in the dba underscore data underscore file. That information is in the dba underscore temp underscore files. So that information is there. So if I ask you, is your table spaces data file having an auto extend feature turned on? Will they automatically extend? Will they automatically grow when there is requirement? You will go to the db_data_files and check that, because it is not related to a table space, it is related to a data file, that auto extend feature. The sizes of each data file, they are here. Okay, just like db_data file, there is a view called as v_data, not underscore, v$data file and v$temp file. We have seen v$views, which were view we had seen v$session. That is a dynamic view, and there is one, so say very similar information is here. The data file information is here, same information is here, very similar information, if not exactly the same. What is the difference? When should we use this and when should we use that? We are going to look at that when we do the recovery, because certain views are available all the time and certain views are not available all the time. Okay, especially during the recovery process. That means when I say available, that means you cannot select from certain views all the time. Those are these views, but you can select from certain views most of the time. So if you are having some trouble selecting from these, then we should actually select from these. So those are the commands. I want to bring one more point here about the renaming of the data file. How do we rename a data file? Is first we take the table space offline, then we execute the rename command and we bring it online. But what if we want to rename a data file which is of a part of the system table space? Okay, system table space is very important. We have seen this is my database. System, sysaux, temp and undo. Those are going to be there definitely. And we are usually talking about some other table spaces. What if you want to rename a data file which belongs to the system table space? And if you say, okay, what is the command? Alter database rename. That command will work. In fact, that is the command we should execute. But the biggest problem with the system table space is that system table space cannot be taken offline. Why? Because it contains so much of data dictionary valuable information that the moment you take the system table space offline, the database will stop functioning. And that is why Oracle has designed the system table space in such a way that you cannot execute this command. Alter table space system offline. You cannot execute this command. Then what to do? In that situation, we have a different method. I'm just going to mention that method over here. We will not understand too much of details of that, but I will mention that over here. How to rename a system table a data file in a system table space. Let me repeat. How to rename a data file in a system table space. First thing is step number A, shut down the database. Shut down the entire database. We don't know what database shutting down process is at this time, but there is a command called as shutdown, and you have to execute that shutdown command, which means nobody can do anything with the with the database. Once the database is shut down, then you need to kind of bring it into a mount phase. So you start it up, START, startup, mount. So this is one command that you will execute in the database in SQL Plus. After that, you will execute this command, startup mount. We don't know too much about this command also, and we're going to learn a lot about this command. But that means database is totally shut down, nobody can do anything. After that, database is started, but in a very special state. It has been started, but it is in a very special state. What is that special state? During this phase, we can do some maintenance activities, and this is what our maintenance activities. And the C is now rename the data file. Now I'm not going to write the whole command for renaming this thing, but the command is same as the earlier command that we have seen earlier. Alter database data file, name of that data file which belongs to the system table space, and rename to something else. Okay, and then after that, D is, you just say alter database open. Alter database open. Now we also don't know what exactly is going to happen when we type alter database open, but just for us to understand, alter database open means now everybody can connect to the database and they can do and resume their normal activity. They can do insert, update, delete and select and all that stuff. But during this time, only the DBA can execute any command. So you are the DBA, you will be logging in as DBA and you will be executing this command. That is what you will be doing. Obviously we saw yesterday or maybe day before yesterday, who can do a shutdown, who can execute a shutdown process? Only the sys user, not any user who has a DBA role. Who can execute these commands? Only the sys user. So very rare situations where you would have to log in, not very rare, but not so frequent situations where you will have to log in as a sys user. How to log in as a sys user, we'll see that. But remember this thing, you must be logged in as user sys to execute these commands. This command can be executed by anybody else though. Okay, so this is how we do the renaming and all that stuff. So I think these are most of the commands for table space related things and the data dictionary views also. So I think we'll stop here.